in black with more M20 spoilers. Today it's gonna be the complete set. I'm not gonna look at all the cards I looked at last time, and some I've filtered out because some were not super interesting, but some I think would be nice to have a look at again. And then there's of course a lot of new cards. First, Kethis, the Hidden Hand, the Molester, the Elf Molester. No, he's Elf Advisor. Legendary spells that cost 1 less to cast. Exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until end of turn. Each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. So in my opinion, this is absolutely bonkers. And I think that this card is gonna be the new, like, money mythic, like the new Hydroid Crassus, is what I think. First of all, it's very good when you play it on turn 3. Yeah, because in Magic, in my opinion at least, you have to think of everything in like terms of what does your opponent have at this point. And if you're up against like mono red or something, the most threatening thing he could ever have is like a Chain Whirler. And even the Chain Whirler doesn't get passes. It's very good stats with a 3-4. And it's a very relevant ability because next turn, the turn after, you can play your Vivien, you can play your Nissa, you can play anything. But legendary spells is not limited, of course, to Nissa and Vivien. You can play anything, any legendary spell. That can be your search for a scout, that can be anything. That you can either play up from a graveyard or that becomes cheaper with this. It's a very strong ability when it comes out. It's very good on turn 3, which is very good if you want to have. And it's also good enough, I think, that it might compete with other planeswalkers that you might want to play in your deck instead. So I really like Kethis, and I really enjoy. I'm probably gonna enjoy playing him, and then it's gonna be like oversaturated because everyone is gonna play him. Is what I think. We'll see. The only unfortunate part about him is maybe that his colors aren't super aligned with the Planeswalker decks. If this would have been like, I don't know, instead of green, if it would have been blue there or something, it would have been like the perfect card for Esper or something. But no. Next card. Drawn from Dreams. I don't know if we looked at this card last time, but I thought it was a little bit interesting. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is kind of a combo enabler. And there's a couple of cards in this set which are actually kind of combo centric. So I don't know if we're gonna see the return of combo. I also don't know if we're gonna see the return of maybe graveyard decks. We haven't had a really graveyard deck. I don't know, Command Dreadlord. It's kind of a graveyard deck, but not really. But Reanimator, I think, might see a resurgence here. We'll see. So I just wanted to. It's not. There's no combo that really comes in mind, or no deck that really wants to find those 2 cards at sorcery speed that I can think of that couldn't just run Narset instead. But there might be some. There might be some deck like that. Especially because this can also find lands and stuff like Narset can't find. Like if you want to be able to find your. There's a couple of really good lands that we're gonna have a look at that you might want to base your deck around. Then Cavalier of Thorns. I need some Dr. Pepper. I think there's a lot of cards to get through. So. If you excuse me one moment. Ooh. Now the voice is back. A smooth voice. Reach. When Cavalier of Thorns enters the battlefield, reveal the top 5 cards of your library. Put a land card from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your graveyard. Decent ability, sure. When Cavalier of Thorns dies, you may exile it. If you do, put another target card from your graveyard on top of your library. That's a tricky pickle. He ramps you 1, which is not super good at turn 5. He's easily bounced, which is the most common way I deal with big creatures nowadays. Even if he dies, it's not a super relevant ability. He's very good against red, of course. He has very good stats, 5-6. But against red, you might be dead when you put this down. A decent card, but I'm not like overly excited by this. It depends if you have some kind of creature. Like if we're gonna have a look at some really, really good lands in this set, and he might be something you want with those lands. Because those lands, there's a Lotus Field that we're gonna have a look at. Maybe, but I think there's better cards for that deck. But still interesting. It's an interesting card. It has some interesting abilities. It's something you can brew around. So, next card. Icon of Ancestry. 3 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type, and creatures you control of the chosen type gets +1/+1. Oh, I waited for a card like this so long. This is perfect when you want to brew weird shit. Like the Servo deck. And you don't want to be limited to like white or something to buff your creatures. Now we can buff your creatures in any color, and I really, really like that. So now we can make now we can make some weird shit with this. 3 colors. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card of the chosen type from among them and put that card into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your library in random order. So you're probably gonna only use this when you ran out of cards, when your control opponent has beaten you down and you're just top decking. You have something to do. Something to do while you're slowly dying. But I think it's very nice to have this. Probably not. I don't see any real good use. Maybe vampires want both this and the white enchantment. Maybe for a vampire deck it could be good. Next, Sage's Row Denizen. There's not gonna be too many commons. Why did I put this one? It seems like most underwhelming ever. Whenever another blue creature enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into the graveyard. This is just because it enables a lot of combos, like infinite combos. When you recur something infinitely, when you have a blue creature just like bounces back a million times, that you can do with, like, I don't know, Teshar and stuff like that. Then you can mill your entire opponent. So it's nice to have these cards for those weird combo decks, which we'll see in the future. I remember when I did my combo deck with, what was it, Liliana and Gobos and stuff like that. But the problem with some combos in MTG Arena is if your opponent doesn't scoop, you need to go through every iteration of your combo. And if your combo is quite convoluted, it's easy to mess up and it's easy to time out. And yeah, it's not super easy to play combo in Arena. Much easier on paper when you just show your combo one time and like, yeah, no, then I want to repeat this 1,000 times. Then your opponent says, okay. Next thing, Chandra, Novice Pyromancer. 3 colors and 1 red. Yes, we're talking about these Planeswalkers again. This Chandra, I think, is the worst Chandra that we're gonna see, but it's probably the best for the Elemental deck, probably. Because the plus is quite relevant in an Elemental deck. If you put down a good Elemental on turn 1, on turn 2, and turn 3, so they have 3 Elementals out, and then you buff them +2/+0, that's like a, I don't know, what's it called? Overrun. I don't remember what it's called. It was something like +3/+3 trample something for green a long time ago. Something like that is what you get for your elemental. So that's quite good. Also, the add to red mana is quite good because it makes it a lot cheaper. So you can play this and play another elemental if you don't have too many elementals on board. But if you don't run with elementals, I don't know that this is good enough. I don't know that it's good enough. Because the thing is, if you just put this down, you have to bank on having another removal or something, which is red, because you only get red mana from this. You can play this and Lava Coil and hope that she survives, and next turn gain 2 more mana and maybe, I don't know, put down Big Chandra or something. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong about this, but I think that the under Chandras are slightly stronger. Omnath, Locus of the Royal. 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue, 1 red. When Omnath, Locus of the Royal enters the battlefield, deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. This is the kind of the elemental lord. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. I mean, it's probably solid in an elemental deck. And I mean, everything about this has to do with elementals. I'm a genius, right? Seems a little bit slow, in my opinion. But if you get this guy to stick against another aggressive opponent, it might be good. Stats are a little bit horrible. Legendaries, you don't want to have too many in your deck. Mana cost is hard to cast. The thing is with these elementals, I think it might be, they might become the new pre-constructed decks, right? They're probably gonna update those. And I think elemental's gonna be here, and maybe get an Omnath or something in those decks. But I think, from what I've seen of the elementals, they seem a little bit gimmicky. They seem like they could be maybe as, I don't know, the vampire tribes were like almost good enough, but not really top tier, is what I think. That's what I think of the elementals. But it's a decently fun card, and I like the art and everything. Oh, the art is decent. Try to find something positive. Kicker wins Fury. Man, I love this Swan man so much. 1 colorless, blue, red, white. Whenever you cast a non-crit spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, and then you can sacrifice spirit to add 1 red. So this is basically as good as the 1/4, which does the same for 4 mana. And that guy did see play. I don't know if Kikar's Wind's Fury is gonna be played immediately. It might be a little bit of a too fast meta right now for Kikar to see play. It might be that we will have to wait until rotation before he sees play, but I think it's, you know, borderline playable, borderline good enough. This guy, and if we even find some kind of good interaction, some kind of combo with this, maybe you have, I don't know, play this guy and then you have the thing which buffs all spirits or any creature type, like the thing we saw before, gives everything +1/+1, which is a non-creature spell, and now this guy produces 2/2 flyers, and then you have something else, some spirit lord or something, maybe in a spirit deck could work. I don't know, but I like this guy. I mean, a swan casting a Hadouken. What's not to love about this guy? Man, I want to play this card. I want to have this card in foil. I haven't felt that feeling in a long while because I haven't played much Paper Magic in a while, but man, I want to have that guy in foil. Leyline of Abundance. 2 colors and 2 green. If Leyline of Abundance, yes, this still, of course, the typical Leyline ability. I don't need to read that. You begin with it and play if you have it in your opening hand. When you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. An additional green. There are a couple of things you can do with this, actually. You could play Leyline of Abundance with a blue card, actually. We can have a look at. I don't know. I think that works because that thing adds 2 colorless, but you can only play artifacts. You have Leyline of Abundance and you tap that guy. You will get 3 mana from that guy. And then you can tap him and then you can play, I don't know, the artifact, what's it called? The 6-mana artifact, which makes everything cost 2 more for your opponent. Something like that. Play that very, very fast. Could be a meme deck. I don't know if that's gonna be consistent enough. Of course you could play this with Elf. It's the obvious thing, just to play it with Elf, but that's boring. That's boring, so we're not gonna do that. Gonna play with something else. I don't know exactly what. Yeah, I like it. I mean, all the Leylines are viable in a way, since you can begin with them in play for free. If you're lucky, you can always get away with these guys and get something amazing. Of course, it's decent with Bloodlord Elf, but I don't know that there's something that you really want to play for 4, except for Karn, maybe. Ooh, Leyline of Abundance, Bloodlord Elf, and then Karn. Then you're home. Shifting Ceratops. 2 colorless, 2 green. This spell can't be countered. That's quite useful. I mean, it doesn't matter too much with small Teferi keeping counters in check. Protection from blue is very good. Oh my god. I don't know. Did I read this card last time? I don't know. Protection from blue is so good right now. I don't know. Not everyone plays Callous Dismissals as I do, but very many people play both Teferi and there's so many things which are blue, which interacts with creatures. And getting through that, and also can't be countered, is very good. And you can get Reach, Trample, or Haste. Solid creature. A solid creature. Is there anything bad about this card? He's not super good against mono red, but it's decent against mono red. But most cards that they already have are better against mono red. Against a creature deck, this guy is not amazing, honestly. There's better cards you can have. Most creature decks are not blue. Also, so. And there's that. Dragon Mage, 5 colors, 2 red. And you ask, why am I showing this card again? And isn't this card super horrible? Each player discards a hand and draws 7 cards. No, I don't think it's horrible. I think this could maybe work in a Reanimator shell. Because you get to draw 7 cards. So usually it's very wasteful to do reanimation. So you really want to refill your hand and refill your hand and refill your hand. And Dragon Mage allows you to do that. If you reanimate this and haste it in an attack. Stuff like that. But I don't know what's gonna be the go-to... that's gonna be the go-to reanimator spell. We have both the one which hastes, and then we have a new reanimator spell, which is a little bit more restrictive, but it costs 1 less mana. And costing 1 less mana is usually very, very good. Dragon Mage. Starfield Mystic. 1 colorless, 1 white. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Did we look at this guy last time? I don't remember. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Starfield Mystic. This guy seems like he belongs in a different set. Both the artworks doesn't seem to... It's like Theros art or something. I didn't even play much during that set, so I don't know. But there's not that many enchantments that I can... that you really want to make cheaper. I don't know, Divine Visitation or something. No, the problem for this guy is just the meta game right now, or the cards that we have available to us. There's not that many strong enchantments as there might have been in the past. In Search for Scantas and stuff like that, but nothing really sticks out to me as you really want to make this one cheaper. And then what? It would be an enchantment for 4 that you wanted to play then. Because you play Starfield Mystic, next turn play an enchantment for 4. I don't know. Ixalan's Binding, maybe. Something. Shared Summons. 3 colorless, 2 green. Search your library for up to 2 creature cards with different names. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your library. So we already saw this thing with Planeswalkers. And I said about those Planeswalkers that it was the exact same effect. It was white, and you can search for 2 Planeswalkers. And I said for that card that it wasn't good enough. And I think the same goes for Shared Summons. It's not good enough. It's too much mana. The only thing that could play this is like, I don't know, Wilderness Reclamation decks. And they don't need this. So, or they don't want this because it doesn't do anything. So I don't see this being played. Maybe in some kind of combo, but I don't see that combo. So unfortunately, a little bit of a miss. A miss, even though I like the card. Weird to say. Tomebound Lich. Death Touch Lifelink. Some nice keywords. When Tomebound Lich enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, draw a card and discard a card. So you get a lot of looting out of this guy. Could be a way to discard stuff to be able to reanimate. But I think there are better ways to discard, honestly. If we were talking about good discard outlets, we have a nice one coming up soon. Meteor Golem. Oh, yeah. Why did I save this card? I don't remember. Maybe because it's still there. For the card deck. Yes! Gonna see more Meteor Golems, aren't you? Aren't you excited to see more Meteor Golems in the future? I hope you are. Sorin, Imperious Bloodlord. Ooh, this one deserves a sip. Honestly. A sip for Sorin. Target creature you control gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. If it's a vampire, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It's a decent ability, not super exciting. Lifelink is pretty good. You may sacrifice a vampire. When you do, Sorin Imperious Bloodlord deals 3 damage to any target and you gain 3 life. Now there's a good plus. There's a good plus for the vampires. Play a shit vampire, like the vampire draws a card or something. Sacrifice it, deal 3 damage to their I don't know, Narset or something, and you gain 3 life. Perfect. Perfect use of the plus there. -3. You may put a vampire card from your hand onto the battlefield. Now this seems absolutely bonkooners. And if you play with all the cards in Magic, yes, then it's absolutely bonkooners. It's probably gonna see play in older formats, I think. Definitely Commander also. As it stands, so Standard doesn't have many good vampires, and the ones which are decent, I think are gonna rotate out also very soon. You could do some shenanigans with this, of course, with Arcane Adaptation. And name a demon and play Big Demon, which you're gonna see soon. Getting those 2 cards off in succession. I mean, we're gonna build that deck, of course. Of course we're gonna build that deck, but... but for normal people, for normies. The normies, I don't know. I don't know if the spikies are gonna pick this card up. The best you could play with this is like the 4/4 now, which draws you a card. Which is good, honestly. I mean, if you play this, put down that 4/4, and then you threaten to give him a lifelink and +1/+1, that's pretty good. And you have a 5/5 lifelink. Attacks in on the turn 4. That's good. Probably gonna be a little bit problematic for mono red, maybe. But yeah. Yeah, there not being enough vampires is the problem for Sorin. But we're gonna build a deck around this. We're gonna definitely build a deck. Maybe arcane adaptation, I'll see. Maybe we can even make them pure vampires. Next card, Yarok's Fenlurker, 2 black. I showed this last time, but I just wanted to show it again. It's just such a nice black card. This is exactly what I want black to do. Just remove card from the hand, remove the lands, remove everything. I want that black card back, the one which destroyed the land. For 2 black mana. I don't think they're gonna reprint that card ever. All these cards would just limit your opponent's resources. I quite like them. I don't know that this is gonna be super played or anything, but I think it's quite a nice card. It's a little bit of an upgrade to Burglar Rat. And yeah. Just wanted to show it. Renowned Weaponsmith. 1 colorless and 1 blue. Add 2 colorless. Spend this mana, only cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. So this guy is quite decently nice. I mean, it's a 1/3 body, which is not super good for 2 mana, yes. But getting 2 colorless is quite good. There's a couple of nice artifacts you can play for this. And then I stop and start thinking, what artifacts for 5 is there really? There aren't too many. But it works with a lot of artifacts. It works with Karn maybe. So maybe there's a room for Renowned Weaponsmith. I don't know. And yes, it's another gimmicky card. I know. But next card. Vivien Arkbow Ranger. 1 colorless, 3 green. Distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures. They gain trample on the end of the turn. This is more stuff for the Explore package, I guess. Target creature you control is damage equal to its power, target creature, or planeswalker. That's quite a nice ability to have there. The -3 is quite nice. This can kill off your Nissas and Narsets and stuff like that. Is this guy worth playing? Is Vivien Arkbow Ranger worth playing? Probably yes, I would say. In the Explore package deck, it's probably worth playing. Because the thing is, you drop this girl down and you've just played your... First you play your 2 mana whenever you explore, you gain 3 life, put a +1/+1 counter, and then you play the double Explorer, and then you play Vivien Arkbow, and then you have a pretty good board. Either use the -3 if they have a planeswalker, or the +1 if they don't have a planeswalker. And if you use the +1, you set up for the -5. You wish to use a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it and put it into your hand. The outside the game part is amazing. Honestly, amazing. That's just probably maybe even a reason to run this in not... Maybe you don't even need to have the Explore package. Maybe you don't need to have many creatures. Just defend this girl 1 turn and then just find the perfect creature from outside the game. Just toolbox them to death. A little bit sad that she dies though, if she does the -5. And it's much better to search for other things. Like Karn's search for artifacts, and being able to search for instant sorceries outside the game would also be better. Creatures are a little bit weak right now. I mean, to talk the big creatures, the big late game creatures are not super relevant, I feel like, right now. I haven't printed any super good late game creatures yet. So far. So I don't know, but I think this is good. It's definitely gonna see play. I don't know exactly where it finds its home. Probably Explore package, but that's just, I don't know, a little bit too boring to speculate about the evolution of the Explore package. It's just, I don't know. 2 colors, 3 blue. Flying. When Cavalier of Gales enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then put the top 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in the random order. So Brainstorm. Ooh, Brainstorm for 5! Finally, Brainstorm in standard. 5 mana. When Cavalier of Gales dies, shuffle it into its owner's library, then scry 2. When it dies, shuffles into the library, scry 2. I mean, the Brainstorm effect is strong, but for 5 mana. For 5 mana, I don't know, buddy. For 5 mana. I could buy a house for 5 mana. I could buy a car for 5 mana. Nah, I think this guy is a little bit too gimmicky, but man, I love Brainstorm. I love Brainstorm so much, but the the strongest non-overpowered card, I would say. I would call Brainstorm. But nah. Portal of Sanctuary. 2 colors, 1 blue. Return target creature you control and each aura attached to it to this owner's hand. Activate this ability only during your turn. You could do a lot of cute things, like you could bounce your Fabalipothups a million times, but it requires so much mana that it's just easier to play, I don't know, Narset or something than playing that. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too gimmicky for this to work, but we could find some some nice jank to do with this. So I like the card. I like that we have some jank enablers, and that definitely is that. Salvager of Ruin. 3 colors. Sacrifice Salvager of Ruin. Choose target permanent card in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn. Return to your hand. Choose target permanent card in your graveyard. I mean, the body is horrible. That's the problem with this. If this had a good body, this would actually be a good card. I mean, if this was like, imagine this being a 3/4 and it returned a permanent card. That would be good. That would be worth setting this up. So that you like lose your Planeswalker, then play this, bring back your Planeswalker to your hand. But with these horrible stats, I don't think, I mean, there's not much gain from playing this. You just play one more of the whatever card you want to have so much of instead. Dracoseth, Maw of Flames. 4 colors and 3 red. When Dracoseth, Maw of Flames attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. So this can clear the board of Planeswalkers if you want to. Yeah, this is a very, very good reanimate target. Another one. Reanimate this with haste, attack in, clear all their Planeswalker, clear all their creatures, and just go ham on them. Yeah, I think definitely that Reanimator is back. With the cards that we've seen, we never had these good late game cards. I mean, of course, you don't want to just play this card because it's gonna be too late. You're not gonna have the mana, you're gonna have to ramp into it, and you're gonna have to wait to attack. But if you reanimate it with haste, then it's good. It's solid. Leyline of Anticipation. If Leyline of Anticipation is in your opening hand, yes, begin with it play. You may cast spells as though they had a flash. I talked about this earlier, but I just wanted to appreciate Leyline of Anticipation, because this card is so good with a couple of cards. Just enabling casting, I mean, even just Planeswalkers end of turn from your opponent could be backbreaking for them. And it's also, yeah, there's so many shenanigans you can do with this. When you can cast thing as though they had flash, you can play the new Black Tutor card end of your turn or end of your opponent's turn. They put something on top and then you can remove that with whatever you search for, and yada 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 yada. A lot of stuff you can do that. Kalia, Zenith Seeker. You ever talked about this girl before? We're not going to talk about it too much. You reveal the top 6 cards and you reveal an angel, demon, or dragon card from among them. This card has a couple of problems with it. The thing is that she's not an angel, demon, or dragon herself. If she could find herself, that would be amazing. But now since she's blocking so much, and since you can't have too many creatures, I think you're at most gonna find like 1 card or something. And there's not many good dragon, demons, or angels. So I think on closer consideration of this card, I think it's a miss. And they could have just made it a hit by, instead of having a human cleric, be an, I don't know, angel cleric. It looks like an angel anyway, so. Next card, Ijani's Strength of the Pride. Not much to add here. It's a very interesting card, and I really like that the -2 can create a Pride Mate. And you can have 2 Pride Mates, and then when they have gain life, of course, they gain +1/+1 counters, and it combos with itself, because you can gain life equal to the number of creatures you control. And the 0 is good if you have at least 15 more life than in starting life. Exile Ijani and each artifact and creature your opponent controls. So this makes this guy good even when you are, I mean, it's a little bit win more when you think about it, because if you're up against a creature deck which the ultimate is best against and you're at +15 life, you probably won anyways. But it's quite nice to have a nice ultimate for 0 also. Quite liking that. So Ijani gives, ooh, and then we get to this card with like the best art. I like everything about this card. I like the mana cost. I like the art. It's like Elder Harlequins if you play Warhammer 40k. Just love those. Those are the, I don't know, Yeah, I'm just a sucker for this for this art right here. Choose 2 target players. Each of them searches the library for a card, then shuffles the library and puts that card on top of it. Yes, this is gonna be very... I think this card is gonna be... I mean, I'm gonna play it. It's gonna be maybe my new card or something. I put it in every deck. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But this is like Ley Line of Anticipation in every deck. And then I just find my cards every time. It's not gonna be a problem finding my cards. Like that. So, in the normal case, giving your opponent the exact card that he wants is probably gonna be super duper bad. It's gonna hurt you quite a lot. Because he's just gonna, I don't know, search for a thought erasure or something and have his 3rd thought erasure. 2 is just like the normal case. Whenever you play against someone, they always have 2 thought erasures, right? But now he's gonna have 3. Little did you know that you started with us scheming symmetry and the Ley Line of Anticipation and lands in hands. Couldn't get anything. Yeah, we're gonna play this card a lot. In summary, we're gonna play this card a lot. Steel Overseer. Put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. Finally! Finally a Saheeli. Better card probably to use with Saheeli than the ones we had before. You can do maybe Saheeli, Karn, Steel Overseer. It could be quite a nice deck. I think this might even become... It's gonna be top tier, but it's gonna be semi-competitive, I think, a deck like that. Karn, Steel Overseer, Saheeli, Mox Amber. Yada yada yada. Something like that. Field of the Dead. We already talked about Field of the Dead, but I just wanted to appreciate how good this is gonna be with Scape Shift before Scape Shift rotates. Or does it rotate at the same time? No, I don't think. I think M19 and M20 are gonna be legal. I don't know. I'm just gonna talk out of my hat or whatever you say in English. I don't know the expression. Thunderkin Awakener. 1 colorless, 1 red. Whenever Thunderkin Awakener attacks, choose target elemental creature card in your graveyard with toughness less than or equal to Thunderkin's toughness. Return that card to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. That's a decent card. The problem with this card is that if you play it on turn 2, you're probably not gonna have anything in your graveyard. So, and it's very difficult to get that elemental there in your graveyard. But it's pretty decent when you play it later. Later in the game, it might be good. I'm probably gonna be playing elementals, I think, maybe. Oh, and then we get to the second best art. Oh my god, Embodiment of Agonies. Oh my god, I love this art also. Do you see the faces here? You see the faces on that that chest there? Or you don't see my mouse pointers. This guy, Flying Death Touch. Embodiment of Agonies enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. For example, 2 and 1 black and 1 colorless and 2 black are different mana costs. So this guy encourages you to play Singleton. And if you play like a Singleton deck, then this guy should be amazing. I mean, in the early game, you think about it. If you play, let's say you play Grixis, right? And you play Opt first. Because you know you have Embodiment of Agonies. Next turn you play the 2 mana... what's it called? 2 mana when you get to Surveil 2 and draw a card. You play that thing and then you maybe Surveil 2 things into your graveyard. And then next turn you play Embodiment of Agonies. It might just be a 3/3 or a 4/4 at this point. But then the more cards you play like that, like draw, discard cards and stuff like that, this card is gonna grow insanely. It's gonna be like the Drake for black, I think. In the right deck, he might be the Black Drake. Black Drake. New album, Black Drake. Might be gimmicky, yes. But I like this card. I love this card. It looks like it could be quite strong. The problem is there's not too many cards that can put that many things in the graveyard, but just play normally with a Singleton deck and you're gonna have like 10-15 different mana costs, and this is gonna be like a 15-15 Flying Death Touch, which is gonna be dangerous. I mean, of course they can just kill it. It doesn't have any protection or anything, but I guess like a red deck could be super duper strong. Have this guy and like Sorin or something. Sorin, we give him some lifelink. Could be amazing. Yeah, I love this card. I'm definitely gonna play it. Definitely gonna pick up a playset. Pattern Matcher. 4 colorless. 1 Pattern Matcher enters the battlefield. You may search your library for a card with the same name as another creature you control. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. This card, I think, is actually good. I think it's good. It's not super duper amazing. But there's a lot of small costing creature cards that you might want to have. I mean, the easy one is of course gonna be Fubbalipathups. Mr. Fubbalipathups, but there's a lot of cards which you actually might want to have in doubles. Like the Explore package dudes are quite good to have in doubles. Put this guy down. It's like he draws you a card, and not even draws you a card, he even searches for a card. The bad part is, of course, if the board is clear, he does nothing for you because he has to search for another creature, so he can't search for himself. But if your deck is full of creatures, this might be good enough on turn 4 to play. Might be. Yes, next card. Sephara, Sky's Blade. Ooh, this card. 4 colors and 3 white. You may pay 1 white and tap 4 untapped creatures you control with flying rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Flying, lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying have indestructible. Now this girl. This girl is decent, but there's so much bounce that she's probably just gonna get bounced. Even if you manage to put something out. So it's not super duper exciting. It's difficult to play. It's gimmicky. We're gonna build a deck around it. That's what we'll leave it at with that. Tail's End. 1 colorless and 1 blue. Counteract, activate ability, trigger ability, or legendary spell. This is actually quite good right now because almost, I think there's no deck where this doesn't work against. It even works against mono red. They have legendaries. They have like their planeswalker, which you can counter with this. And it works against mono white even because they have, and of course it works against, it's very good against Esper Control. It's good against a lot of things like Nissa decks and stuff like that. It's very good against. And of course it can counter Teferi, which is like a requirement if you want to play a counter spell which counters. You need to have something which can counter Teferi also. It is very good. And it's most importantly why you want Tail's End is because you can counter your own triggered ability from Lotus Field, which you haven't come to yet, but we're gonna see that card. And that card is one of the cards which I think are gonna change standard. There's a couple of cards. It's the Advisor. I would say the most impactful cards before we have seen all of them. It's gonna be, I think at least, it's gonna be the Advisor that we've already seen, the Alpha Advisor. Then the black card, which kind of enables Reanimate, which you can have a look at, and then Lotus Field, which can give you a lot of mana. So yeah. It enables one of those cards, so I think this card will see play. Next card. Masterful Replication is this is another jank card, I know. I know it's not maybe super serious, but 5 colorless, 1 blue. Create 2 colorless, 2 3/3 colorless golems. Decent, but not amazing, sure. Choose target artifact you control. Each other artifact you control becomes a copy of that artifact on the end turn. So there's nothing really super strong that I know that I can do with this. Of course you can set up insane board states if you have, this is like the ultra late game or something, and you have like Helm of the Host which you've cloned so it's not legendary anymore, and then you have all these Helm of the Host and you clone them and then you create more helms and something, I don't know. Create something nasty out of that. We're gonna make a deck like that, don't you worry. But for a normal case, I don't know exactly what artifact would be so good to copy with last ability. I like that it's instant though. I like that it's, ooh. Just wanted to repeat how much I like the repeated reverberation. Man, this card is solid. Whenever you cast an instant spell, sorcery spell, or activate a loyalty ability this turn, copy that spell or ability twice, you may choose a new target. So it's good with like every planeswalker ever. Essentially. It's amazing with the Fairy Time Raveler because you can basically make a board wipe because when you return all their cards and you draw all those cards. There's so many planeswalker abilities which with this is super duper strong. I mean, it's even good with something weird like Nissa, like having untap 3 lands and attacking in for 1,000,000. I mean, it's good with essentially every planeswalker ever. And instants and sorceries good with, and there's a lot of good instants and sorceries. And it's very good with Neoform also. Because if you copy Neoform, then you get to search for new creatures, but you don't need to sacrifice additional creatures. So you can just play Neoform and then copy with repeated reverberation and just go to town with that. So yes, amazing card. Next card. Mystic Forge. 4 colors. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an artifact or colorless non-land card. You may cast the top card if it's an artifact or colorless non-land card. Okay, so here the artifact deck is kind of coming together, right? We have Mystic Forge, we have Ugin, we have Karn, Sahili, Steel Overseer or something. Then you have... you probably want everything. Yeah, Mystic Forge is just amazing, honestly. You probably just want one of them, because they don't stack in any way. But put one of this in your deck with Karn, or maybe even search with... Maybe have it in your sideboard. You put down Karn, then you put down Mystic Forge. And then you recur your entire deck. Could be amazing. Or you have one in your deck and one in the sideboard. Yeah, this could be really, really good in that kind of Karn archetype thing. Elvish Reclaimer. 1 green. Elvish Reclaimer gets +2/+2 as long as there are 3 or more land cards in your graveyard. And then you can 2 sacrifice land, search your library for a land card, and put the card into your battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So the most useful ability with this is that it can find your Lotus Fields, I think. So this might get... We haven't seen Lotus Field yet, but yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Blood for Bones. 3 colors and 1 black. As an addition cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then return another creature from your graveyard to your hand. So, Blood for Bones is a decent card. It requires you to have a creature out, which is a little bit annoying, but we're gonna find a card which kind of works perfectly with Blood for Bones. Which kind of... I think there's gonna be a black... I'm like 99% sure Black Reanimator is gonna be a thing. I don't know which tier it's gonna be, if it's gonna be top tier or it's gonna be something else, but it looks really strong from what I've seen. So yeah, Blood for Bones is gonna be a part of that deck, I think. So yeah, Blood for Bones, yes, it's a good card. Because it's 1 cheaper. You need to sacrifice a creature, but... Yeah, you will see. I will see. When we get to those cards, you'll see what I mean. Then I will reveal my master plan, of course. Chandra, Awakened Inferno, 4 colors and 2 red. This spell can't be countered. Oh, I'd already talked about this. Each opponent gets an emblem with at the beginning of your upkeep. This emblem deals 1 damage to you. So this is quite good against control decks. I don't know if this Planeswalker is... Yeah, I mean, it is good against non-control decks, because the -3 deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature. So unless you're up against an elemental deck, you're probably gonna clear the board out of most things. And -X, Chandra, the Awakened Inferno, deals X damage to target creature or Planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage is where you would die this turn, exile it instead. So it's quite nice being able to fight up some Planeswalkers and stuff. Yeah, Chandra, the Awakened Inferno is quite strong, honestly. Against control decks, you give them a clock where they can't stall out. The thing is that the control decks now are not super slow. This control decks now are quite fast, honestly. They play a lot of cheap Planeswalkers, and they have... I don't know if it's only my decks, but I often play a lot of Interplanar Beacons, and I can often gain 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 life every turn, so it's not going to be super devastating if someone does +2 on me. Especially if they haven't been super fast, which they probably haven't, since they have a lot of Chandra Awakened Inferno, which is a late game card in their deck, so... I don't think that this is going to be overpowered, but I think it's going to be a good card. It's going to be a solid card. Rotting Regisaur, here we have it! Here we have it. Okay, so here's the plan, everyone. We play Rotting Regisaur, turn 3. At the beginning of our upkeep, you discard a card. We discard whatever we want to reanimate. And then we play Blood for Bones the turn after. Sacrificing our Rotten Regisaur, getting our big dude into play, and returning our Rotten Regisaur to our hand. Done. That's the entire thing. Rotten Regisaur plus Blood for Bones plus whatever creature you want to reanimate. This card is solid by itself. It probably won't get killed by most things. I mean, if it's a control deck, they might just bounce it, and then just replay it again. And if you're up against a red deck, then they cry a million tears. I mean, you could also play this with just Sorin and attack in for 7 lifelink and watch over your opponent cries on the way. And it's pretty good with Sorin, because you can just bring him back from your graveyard. If you're in the late game, just bring back Rotten Regisaur from your graveyard with Sorin. Perfect Sorin partner, perfect for Reanimator. I love this card so much. Might be a little bit too strong against some decks which like answers creatures with red spells. Like, it's gonna be very, very good, I think, against like Drakes, for instance. They don't have a good way to kill this. And this guy is just gonna come into their face, and they don't want to block with their Drakes, and the Drakes are not gonna grow fast enough. So yeah, good card. We're gonna see this a lot, I think. Next card, Zarok. The Desecrated. 2 colors, 1 black, 1 green, 1 blue. Death Touch lifelink. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Yeah, I already talked about this guy. The thing is, his stats are horrible. He's decent with that it has lifelink and Death Touch, I guess, but if a permanent causes you to triggers an additional time. Unless it's a combo deck. I don't see... You don't gain that much value from this. I mean, there's a couple of things when they die you gain some value, but it's not enough, I don't think. It's not enough to play this unless there's something like you win the game, some kind of combo thing. I think about this card. Next card. Planar Cleansing. Man, I like this card, honestly. You will say, oh, it's such a boring card, destroy all non-permanents, but finally! A sweep. Whenever the board set gets out of hand, whenever your opponent has like 15 planeswalkers and they have a million things, and they have a million cards on the board, and you just Planar Cleansing. Away with them! I don't want to see them anymore. Yes, that's what I like. I like that it can deal with all the creatures and all the planeswalkers. It just costs 1 more than the sweepers I usually use. I usually use 5 mana sweepers now. Planar Cleansing is quite a lot steeper at 6 mana, so it will be difficult against some decks, but if you build around it and if you maybe have some sort of ramp in your deck, then Planar Cleansing could be amazing. That ramp would of course have to be colorless, but or colorless, destroy all non-permanents. That ramp would of course have to be Lotus Field, because it's a land, so it doesn't get killed by Planar Cleansing. Gonna see Lotus Field. Ooh, maybe a Lotus Field Planar Cleansing deck could be quite strong, honestly. We'll see. Right, 1 colorless, 1 red. This spell can't be countered. This 5 damage target creature or planeswalker that's white or blue. So I just wanted to highlight that this is like good against all planeswalkers right now. The problem is if you play this against the planeswalkers, which it's good against, like Teferi. Teferi has already drawn a card, so you're just down 1 card if you play Fry. And if you play Narset, she has already also drawn a card, so it doesn't really gain you any card advantage. I would love if this would have been this 5 damage target planeswalker. You could have removed creature there maybe, and then they would have said if it's white or blue, draw a card. Maybe. So then maybe you at least gain equal value from this. Because now it's... I don't think that it's even a sideboard card, I think about it. Because you don't gain any value. Yeah. Moldavine Reclamation. 3 colors, black, green. Whenever a creature you control dies, gain 1 life and draw a card. So this just sets up for jank shenanigans where we just sacrifice all our creatures and draw cards, sacrifice creatures and draw cards, sacrifice creatures and draw cards. I love this card because of that. Yes, it's gonna be janky, and I don't see any super obvious broken combo with this, but man, am I gonna build a deck around this. I love these effects where like something happens and you draw a card, or something happens and yada yada yada. Of course, it's gonna be shut down by Narset every time and we're gonna cry, but we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun doing that. Manifold Key, 1 colorless. And you can play 1 colorless and untap another target artifact. Maybe a Lotus. Maybe a Lotus. And then 3, target creature can't be blocked this turn. I hate that it's that you first need to pay 1 mana and then you need to pay 1 more mana to untap. Couldn't it just be untap target artifact? Would that be too broken for standard? I don't know. So close, yet so far. Flame Sweep. Flame Sweep deals 2 damage to each creature except for creatures you control with flying. I think it's a nice sweeper. We have the one which deals the non-pirate, and I mean, in all fairness, we have better sweepers right now. But it's nice to have a decent sweeper in the uncommon slot. Brought Back! Here's another card which might change standard. I mean, these cards have historically always changed standard, so we're gonna see if this one does the same. Choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your grave that were put there from the battlefield this turn, return them to the battlefield tapped. This is quite nice, honestly, Brought Back. You can do this with your like Narset and Teferis. Hold up Brought Back, and you're probably gonna do if they attack into them, they know they're gonna get brought back. And that's quite horrible for them to have refreshed planeswalkers on the board. You can do other shenanigans with this, of course. There's so many shenanigans you can do with Brought Back. So if this does not see play, I'll buy a hat and I will eat it. That's what I say about Brought Back. Just that it's so flexible with 2 target permanent cards that were put there, and that's also an instant. And it's up to, so if you only have one permanent, it still works. Yeah, very flexible, fun card. We're gonna brew something around this. We don't probably have to brew something around this, but it's probably gonna be a good card in by itself. So, Grafdigger's Cage. I'm happy this card is back, and it's probably because they've anticipated that reanimate is gonna be a thing. I mean, it's definitely gonna be a thing after this set. Grafdigger's Cage. 1 colorless creature cards in your graveyard and libraries can't enter the battlefield. So yeah, it shuts down all reanimation you could do. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Yes. Reanimator is dead. Also, it shuts down Rekindling Phoenix and stuff like that. So it's very, very good card to have in your Karn sideboard. Lotus Field, there it is. Here's the money rare for the set. The Lotus Field. I think at least. Why is this card so good? We have seen these effects in the past where you have things where you sacrifice lands and you get more manas and stuff like that. And historically they've always been bad, right? But the thing is, this guy has hexproof. That's always been the problem with those lands, that you can just kill that land and then you've lost everything. But with Lotus Field, it's decent. Okay, so we're gonna read it first. That's battlefield. It has battlefield tapped, which is bad, of course. When Lotus Field enters the battlefield, sacrifice 2 lands. This is a triggered ability, so it can be countered with either the one which we saw, the one which can counter legendaries, and it can also with Repudiate or whatever it's called, which can copy a creature or counter an activated or triggered ability. So probably Repudiate is better because then you might run this with. Maybe you want both. I don't know. Depends. But you can maybe, if you have some creatures that you also want to copy or something, you can run with Lotus Field. And then add 3 mana of any one color. It's just amazing, of course. A land which produces 3 mana is amazing. Of course, this is also amazing with Kiora, because you can untap your Lotus Field with this. So if you have Kiora down and you play your Lotus Field, you sacrifice your land and you immediately untap Lotus Field, and then you have a big mana gain on that turn, and then you can probably get even bigger mana gain next turn also. So yeah, it's combo with Kiora, it's combo with Repudiate, it's combo with a new counter. Yeah, this card just seems so amazing, and I'm gonna put this into everything, I think. That's gonna be the problem with Lotus Field. I love this card so much. I even like the art a little bit. I'm like a little bit torn on the art, but I kind of like it, I think. Kind of like it. Next card. Loyal Pegasus, 1 white. Flying. Loyal Pegasus can't attack or block alone. I talked about this card earlier, but I think it's quite nice. I think this might see play in mono white, just because they always have so many creatures anyway, and having a flyer seems very relevant, especially with all these planeswalkers and everything. So yeah, good card. Mu Yanling Skydancer. Now we have it with the English text, so you can see that also. I think this is a little bit too gimmicky still. The +2. Up to 1 target creature gets -2, -0 and loses flying, and then -3 create a 4/4 blue elemental bird, and -8 you get an emblem. The emblem is very good. Islands you control have draw a card. I think if this sees play, it's for the emblem, and it's very good that this combos very nicely with elder spells. So you can either eat up your old planeswalkers, you can eat up your opponent's planeswalkers, and if you get to the emblem, you probably won. You probably could set up your deck so that you win if you get the ultimate up. Sky Knight Vanguard. 1 red, 1 white. Whenever Sky Knight Vanguard attacks, create a 1/1 white solely creature token with that's tapped and attacking. So this card is actually surprisingly good, I think. We have an Amara, Soul of the Accord, which sometimes sees play. And in my opinion, this seems better. I don't know. So there might be some Amara fans which like, no. No, this is not better. But in my opinion, this seems better to me, because the problem with the Mara is that yes, you can use that thing and tap it for convoke costs, but you often want to attack in with it to gain the full benefit of the card, and you don't always want to attack in with it because he has such horrible stats and he's just gonna get killed by something. Because if your opponent has creatures, then you don't want to attack in with the Mara, and then not gaining any value from a Mara. But this guy you can often attack in with because it has flying. And the thing which comes into play is also tapped and attacking, which is quite nice. So I like Sky Knight Vanguard. I think it's a good card. Good card in a common slot. Ooh! Flood of Tears. This is gonna be so good before all the rotations and everything. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hand. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control This way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto battle. We talked about this earlier. Put down Omniscience or put down anything which wins you the game with Flood of Tears, and it's honestly amazing. And it's so good that it just clears the way of all your opponent's stuff also. So it's a board sweep which wins you the game, kind of. But the bad part about this, of course, that you need to have something which to combo with this, like an Omniscience or something. Gargus, Vicious Watcher, 3 colors and 3 green. Vigilance, Hydra spells you cast cost 4 less cost. Yes! Hydra Tribal! Coming right up. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, Gargus Vicious Watcher fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. I mean, the weird part is it has such good stats that it might actually see play? Nah, I won't see play. But I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna make a Hydra. I'm gonna make a Hydra deck. Bishop of Wings. 2 white. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control. Yes, I talked about this. I mean, this is such an obvious combo with the Resplendent Angel, but it's just... Oh, I love Resplendissant. Love it so much. Blood-Soaked Altar. 4 colors and 2 black. Pay 2 life, discard a card, sacrifice a creature, create a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying. Activate its ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. That's too bad at that point. You can use this with a lot of things. You could use this, of course, with Reanimator deck, but it's gonna be hard fitting this in all the Reanimated cards. I think it's gonna be too tight. I think it's gonna be a gimmicky card. It'll be a gimmicky card, but there's a lot of ways of gaining a lot of fodder to this to discard. That's not gonna be a problem, I don't think. Finding a lot of things to throw to this. Problem is gonna, when you play this at 6 mana, yes, you get a 5/5. And then from there on you can get a 5/5 every turn, but you're losing 2 life also. I think they could have pulled the power level up a little bit. They could have probably removed the pay 2 life, honestly. Yeah, I think. Colossal Hammer. 1 colors, equipped criticals +10/+10 and loses flying, equip 8. This is probably not meant for standard, I don't think. I think it's made for under formats where you can cheat the equip cost. So you don't have to pay that cost, and then it's quite nice to have +10/+10 or something, and you can do whatever you want with it. In standard, I think it's too much to equip 8. It's gonna take... Yeah, it's just never gonna work out. Think about this card. Mask of Immolation. 1 colors and 1 red. When Mask of Immolation enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 red elemental creature token that then attach Mask of Immolation to it. And then you can sacrifice it, deals 1 damage. I think these equipments are quite nice, but I think that this is a little bit underwhelming. This should have probably cost 1 red, to be honest. Because re-equipping this is not super good usually. I mean, the thing I could see with Mask of Immolation is like play this and play like the Molder thing. I mean, it's so much mana, so it's never gonna happen. But if we can dream, if we're allowed to dream for 1 moment, and we get that off, and we can just sacrifice our creatures, draw cards, ping things, and draw more cards, and draw more cards, and draw more cards. It's a little bit of a too expensive sacrifice outlet, I think, but I mean, it's a sacrifice outlet. Rule of Law. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. This you could definitely play alongside the Teferi and make your opponent's life very miserable. Because you can play spells during their turn, but they can't, since Teferi prevents that. You can have 1 Rule of Law in a Teferi deck and just be annoying to other control decks. Ancestral Blade. 1 colors and 1 white. Whenever Ancestral Blade ends the battlefield, create a 1/1 white solid token and then attach Ancestral Blade to it. This is probably the best, to be fair. Probably the best equipment of these that we've seen, because you get a 2/2 for 2, which is a decent deal. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's a decent deal. And then you can equip for 1, which is good. It's just a 1 mana, and then just re-equip all your Ancestral Blades. And it's a permanent. Even though the soldier dies at some point, it's gonna be another permanent, and you will have a lot. This essentially brings 2 permanents on the field, which means that if you play Bond 2 or something later on, you can eat up both the Ancestral Blade and the 1/1. Or if the 1/1 has died, you can just eat up all your Ancestral Blades that are lying around. So I think this might see play, honestly, Ancestral Blade, with some things like eat up permanents, yada yada, something like that. Rien. Angel of Rebirth. 2 colors, 1 red, 1 green, and 1 white. Flying other multicolored creatures you control get +1/+0, and whenever another multicolored creature you control dies, return it to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Brienne of Tarth, I don't know. I think that this is too much manas and you don't gain any value from it directly. It dies to removal. There's so many problems. I know dies to removal, right? Every creature dies to removal. The worst argument ever, I know, but it doesn't do anything for you. That's the problem. Couldn't it have been multicolor creature control get, I don't know, +3, +0 until end of turn or something? Like, more of a strong effect. It just doesn't do much on the board. It's like with Rian. Next card, Nightpack Ambusher. 2 colors, 2 green. Other wolves and werewolves you control get +1/+1. Finally! Some wolf action. We have that glass style Ariane, or what's it called? Aline. Glass style Aline that we're gonna use. Nightpack Ambusher. Beginning your end step, if you didn't cast a spell this turn, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Oh, so this is a little bit reminiscent of like Innistrad mechanics. It's a flash also. Best wolf so far. In standard. Creeping Trailblazer. 1 red, 1 green. Other elementals you control get +1/+0. Yes, this is gonna be the obvious elemental lore. That's gonna go into all elemental decks. And then it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each elemental you control if you pay the mana cost. As I said before, I think this is a little bit boring for a lord. I think they should do more with the lords wizards. But I mean, it's fine. It's good. It's gonna enable the elemental archetype, so it's fine. Here we got a Bag of Holding, and this card I very much like. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard, and then you can 2 draw a card and discard a card, and then you can 4 sacrifice Bag of Holding, return all cards exiled with Bag of Holding to their owner's hand. So this is quite nice. What you can do with this, of course, is that you can discard a lot of cards. You can have like, I don't know, a blue-red deck, and you can have an insane amount of like filtering and stuff like that. And maybe you, I don't know exactly what you do. You can't use it in a reanimate deck, but you can use it with some other thing. And then you can return all those cards, and then you can have a shit ton of cards. If you have a lot of looter effects in your deck, then Bag of Holding could be quite good. I like the card. I like the card. Villis, Broker of Blood. Here it is! Finally! Finally gets to the reanimated target. Flying. 1 black. Pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That's nice. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. Yes, here we have it. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. So you need to have Villis, Broker of Blood, and you need to have some way of losing life. Because then you can just refill your entire hand, and you can just recur your deck, and you can reanimate and do nonsense and nonsense and nonsense. Of course, this is kind of... there was a 7/7 lifelink demon, which was of course just better than Villis, Broker of Blood, but this is like a lesser version of that demon, and it had pay 7 life, draw 7 cards. It's not as good as that, not even nearly as good as that, but it's something reminiscent of that. And if you get this guy going, and also if you get this versus a red deck, for instance, if you reanimate this guy, what are you gonna do? 8/8, they're never gonna kill it, and then you can, I don't know, give this lifelink or something, do something. Yeah, Villis, Broker of Blood will be one of the cornerstones, I think, in the upcoming reanimated decks. And it's gonna be quite strong. I love black. Black might see a resurgence, mono black with the reanimated deck. So yes, looking forward to Villis, Broker of Blood. Next, Dread Presence. 3 colors and 1 black. Whenever a swamp enters battlefield under your control, choose 1. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Draw Dread Presence deals 2 damage to any target and you gain 2 life. Oh, I talked about this card before. This is another obvious combo with... what's the card's name even? Scapeshift. Play this as Scapeshift and Scapeshift all your swamps. It doesn't have to be basic swamps, remember that. It can be other swamps, so you can play this like green-black. Play Dread Presence and play that card and either draw some cards and lose some life, or you deal a lot of damage and gain life. So yes, I mean it dies to all removal. It's gonna be janky, but yes, we're gonna make a deck around it. Chandra's Regulator, 1 colors and 1 red. Whenever you activate a loyalty ability of Chandra Planeswalker, oh, I talked about this before, you may pay 1. If you do copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. The most obvious one is probably gonna be the big Chandra, but it's a little bit difficult to wait there. You could probably do a deck with all the Chandras, to be fair. All the Chandras, a few elementals and stuff like that. And then have Chandra's Regulator, and it could be quite good. Quite good. This got a mountain card or a red card, draw a card. Decent. Cavalier of Dawn. 2 colors and 3 white. When Cavalier of Dawn enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. Oh, okay. This is a pretty good way of blowing up planeswalkers. And the 3/3 colorless golem creature token might not even matter too much. So, to be honest, if they have a 3/3 golem, I guess what's a control deck gonna do with their golem? Not gonna do anything. So it's quite good. When it dies, return target artifact or enchantment from your graveyard to your hand. Is this the best? Is this the best knight? I will see. I think there's 1 or 2 more knights. And this one is solid. This is like the a meteor golem effect, but they get a meteor golem. They get the meteor golem instead. You get the effect, they get the meteor golem. That's good. Next card. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. Yeah, I've already talked about this card. 1 colorless and 2 red. In my opinion, this is the best Chandra. But we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell if this is the shit Chandra. Put a loyalty counter on each red planeswalker you control. Which is nice because it puts it on itself. And then 0 create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. They get haste, sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. It's only good in an elemental deck, and it's not that good, honestly. It's not that good. Yeah, if you buff them up, it's good. Otherwise, it's not. And then the -2 is, which is the reason, of course, you play this card, is you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard. If that card will put into graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So play this with anything. There's so many good targets. I know I keep saying Neoform every time I see this copy instants and sorceries, but there's a lot of good things you can do with this. A lot of good instant sorceries for 3, and it gives you so much value that it has to see play, I think. Has to be seen. Knight of Ebon Legion. 1 black. Man, his face looks weird. Sure. 2 colors, 1 black. Knight of Ebon Legion gets +3/+3 and gains death touch until end of turn at the beginning of your end step. If a player lost 4 more life this turn, I think we saw this guy. Put a +1/+1 counter on Knight of Ebon Legion. 4 or more, that's a lot of life. But it combos with itself, right? It's a decent vampire. Absolutely. It's decent stats at 1/2, I must say. And then the 3 mana buffs him and death touch. You can threaten this, and then when you don't block him, you can play something else. Decent vampire. Not super exciting, but it's decent. Next card. Golas, Tireless Pilgrim. 5 colorless. Oh, we already talked about this card, and I think my opinion stands on this guy. It's very janky. You can search for a land card. Probably if you search for a land card, you can search for something high impact, like a Field of Lotus things. Field of Lotuses. But you won't be able to play, when I think about it, you won't be able to play the ultimate. The problem with this is the ability there. 2 colors, white, every mana. Exile the top 3 cards of your library, you may play them this turn. It doesn't combo with the search for a land card. Because the good land cards that you can search for don't trigger him, so... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this guy. I'm gonna do something with him, but I don't know. Wake Root Elemental. 4 and 2 green. Untap. Oh, we've seen this card before. 5 green. Untap target land you control. It becomes a 5/5 elemental creature with haste. It's still a land. A decent ability, but the thing is, it's just gonna get killed and bounced. And yes, yes, I've said that a million times. And yes, I'm the ruiner of fun when I say that. I know. But creatures are so much more difficult to get to stick on the board. Usually everything dies immediately when you play it. It's rare that something sticks on the board. Leyline of Combustion. 2 colors, 2 red. Whenever you can begin with the play, of course, if you have it in your opening hand. And whenever you and or at least 1 permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, it deals 2 damage to that player. It's quite interesting in the mono-red mirror. See who dares to burn the other one. And yeah, there's a couple of things you can do with this against control decks. It's quite irritating. Yeah, we're gonna see some nasty stuff, I think, with Leyline of Combustion. I like this card. Next card, Cavalier of Flame. 2 colorless and 3 red. Creature you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. When it enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. Okay. And when it dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard. Yeah, we talked about this card before. It has the same problem as everyone has, except for the fact that this guy actually has a decent effect when it comes to play. You discard any number of cards and draw that many cards, so some kind could work in a reanimate. I don't know. When it dies, it's X damage, yeah. The thing is, you're not gonna put that many land cards in your graveyard. You're probably gonna deal like 1 or 2. Might be a good enough sweeper. It has some mobility when it comes to play. You can filter your hand a little bit. Decent. The second best knight, I would put this at. Ooh, Cavalier of Knights. 2 colors and 3 black. Lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, destroy target creature an opponent controls. That's a strong ability. Now we're talking about. This is a good black ability. Sacrifice your, I don't know, burglar rat or whatever. You have some Bulletproof or something. And destroy a creature. That's good. When it dies, return target creature card from your graveyard with card box 3 or less. The battlefield. Perfect. Yeah, okay, now this is the best knight. Took that back. Took that back very quickly. Yeah, funnily enough, yes, I think the black one is the best one. Because you have a lot of like Bulletproof and stuff you can have, or I don't know, burglar, whatever you want. You can have a small creature and then you get that creature back also when it dies. It does something when it comes to play. And it does something when it dies. So you can get a 3 for 1, or maybe even a 4 for 1 for this card. So yeah, good card. Diviner's Lockbox. Choose a card name, then reveal the top card of your library. If that card has this chosen name, sacrifice Diviner's Lockbox, draw 3 cards, activates ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So you can use this with things such as the black thing which searches for a card and put that card on top. You could play that card first, and then you could activate Diviner's Lockbox, get that card plus some other cards, and that's pretty good. You can use it with that card. It's another way of enabling it. If you don't want to do the instant speed trick, you can do this. So yeah, it's a decent card. It's not gonna be... You need to have ways of knowing what your top card is, but if you have, then it's decent. And then we're back to Kethis. Kethis, the hidden hand. The hidden hand, that seems dangerous. Keep your women and children away, I say, from this guy. Yeah, that is all the cards. In summary, I think that this card, this set, it won't change the metagame as much as War of the Spark did, which like hosts some archetypes and stuff like that. I think this won't change as much, but it will definitely introduce a couple of new archetypes. Like, of course, it's gonna be the Elemental deck. I don't know what tier that's gonna be. It's gonna be something around Kethis. Definitely gonna be some kind of deck around that. And there's definitely gonna be Reanimator. So there's a lot of things that I'm very much looking forward to. And there's also a lot of cards that we can brew around, which are a little bit janky, yes, but we can make some weird shit around it. And I'm looking forward to that. So very much looking forward to shaking things up a little bit. So that is my complete M20. I have to do this also. M20 spoiler video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Member shout out. Member shout out. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you for all your support, and a special thank you of course to our dear members: Simon Lauer, Master, Bagging Gaming, Magic Pistol Man, Alan, Clark, Steiner Buggen, Ramen Noodles for me, Adam Alexis, Own 77, The Blue Dragon, Rodney Cox, MTG Noob, Herman M, Agony Reborn, Soft Pillow, Snick, Luria Stars, Michael Aguilar, Shamanix, Spencer Hofsty, Carlos Martinez, Alex Smikev, Nathaniel Nizzard, Laser Set to Stun, Jeff Henry, Eric0234, Diesel Fizzlepop, Ellie Curtis, Strange Brontides, Leanin, Into It, Cyberjunk Punk, Santa John, Bradley Williams, and Michael W. You guys are amazing. If you also want to become a Dark Lich, support me and also rule the underworld, then check out the join button next to the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.